how to live below your means. It's hard for a lot of people to stay within what they make, which is totally understandable. Things are expensive and things are hard to pay for. The first thing is budget, as always. Simple budget. The next thing is cost cutting. Shop secondhand for certain things. Even secondhand items are becoming quite expensive. Shopping lists can save us money. Using cash only. Free alternatives. I'll go into each one. Share subscriptions. I know that is getting harder, but there are ways to do it. Trading, bartering, and borrowing. Comparison shopping. And most of this is, more work and people want convenience. But if you want to save money and actually change the way things look for you financially, it requires work. People don't think that having a budget and checking your bills, and that is all a lot of energy and expenditure that you have to give every month, but it pays off in so many ways. And the last thing is to create a challenge. This is just, again, to establish what we are working with. If you know the numbers, then you're less likely to overspend and you're less likely to get into a bind because you know the numbers. The next thing is cost cutting. So this is all about focusing on needs, not wants. If it can wait, let it wait. If it's not something you absolutely have to have right this second, just wait. So for secondhand, we're talking about toys, clothes, hobby stuff, books, stuff like that. Anything that you might end up giving away again, you should check it out in the secondhand and see if you can find it there. Next is to use lists, shopping lists especially, keep you on task. So if it's not on the list, it stays in the store. And a lot of people don't do this, but you can do this for online. You can build a cart. Don't actually purchase it yet. Wait a week. Wait as long as you can. If you can't wait, then what you absolutely have to have right now can be bought and the rest can stay in the cart. So cash only, you can switch to no cards and cash only. It is harder to part with cash. you'll see your $40 and it will turn into $2 in front of your eyes, and you will not like that. So get rid of the cards and start carrying cash. Free alternatives. This would be for things like the gym. Maybe you could just go walking instead of going to the gym. Maybe you could cook at home instead of going out to eat. And air dry your clothes. I'm sure there's so many more we could think of. Put them in the comments if you come up with any free alternatives to what we spend money on for convenience. Share your subscriptions. So if you share the bill, share the password, share the bill. That's always nice. So do that as often as you can with games, with movies, with anything you can think of that a subscription is required. If you can loan it out or help someone else out with it, they can maybe cut in on half of that. That is a great way to cut some costs. Or just get rid of the subscriptions. We really don't need as many as we think. Next is to trade, barter, or borrow. So this, I'm talking about things like daycare. So babysitting, you can, if you know another mother that you trust or another family that you trust, you can say, I'll watch her every other Saturday while you go run your errands, and then you can watch mine every other Sunday, something like that. And that will save you a little bit of money. If you can find someone to babysit that would charge you less than daycare, that would be even better. Daycare is outrageously priced. I understand that. And things like hair and nails. You can do those things yourself. There are tutorials everywhere, and it doesn't have to be perfect for it to look nice. And it doesn't have to cost $250 a month. You can also do this with food. Your neighborhood, your neighbors. You could say, okay, once a week, I will make dinner for you and I with your neighbor. And then you make once a week for us too. Stuff like that will change the game. So also put anything down below that you can think of that you can trade, barter, or borrow. So the next one is comparison shopping. So look to find it cheaper or cut it. So say like you need, I don't know, a dress for a wedding, and you cannot find anything under $100 and you do not have more than $100 to spend on it. Consider not buying it and going in your closet, or that would be something here, clothes that you could borrow maybe from someone, or trade your sister for her dress, or however you can work it out. Just think outside of the box of convenience, because we have all become too accustomed to the box of convenience, and it doesn't make us have to look for ways to save. We think there's no way I could live without that, when in actuality, people have been living without that for a long time before convenience became a thing. So the last thing is to create a challenge. Now this can be, you might have heard of the no spend. So people do a no spend for a week or a month, and those are great. Save a lot of money. You can do a challenge of saving $5 a day. So that could be your coffee or your lunch or whatever. You can save that extra $5 a day. or any amount actually, depending on what your situation is. And then there are also people that will save energy. So they will turn off the lights more often or not take as many showers, something to cut the cost of the water and electric. And something that I discovered this last summer, my husband and I decided to not turn on our refrigerated air. And instead we went and bought those portable swamp cooler type things. And we just put one in each room that we frequent. And those rooms stayed very cold. And the rest of the house, if it got hot, oh well. And the rest of the house, if it got hot, oh well. And my electric bill plummeted. So that is something you could also consider, to think beyond what you're used to thinking when it comes to saving money. There's so many ways. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe.